doing? How are we feeling? We're going to be as neutral as possible because I know, I'm from the Philippines, you're from Indonesia, but that doesn't matter here. How are we feeling about this matchup?
I'm nervous. I'm nervous coming into this, right? Because everything is on the line here. One more slot into the grand finals. And looking at the drafts, I think it will be a very interesting 1v1 here between Ramiti as well as Vival on their comfort heroes.
I feel like this is the nature of the trend so far in the jungle. A lot of the teams here in MWI have done relatively well when they pick up these assassin junglers, and they like to, because what I've noticed is they like to fight it out, they like to brawl it out. They're very aggressive in some of the play styles, especially early on from all our women's teams so far. We already had one fire series to start off the day. Now for this one, again, this is the spot to move forward to the grand finals to face off GG, Gaming Gladiators, and either of these teams I feel like are going to be able to go the distance. I know we talked about it a little bit with LaFell on the panel there, and we shared our thoughts, but I think with both of these lineups, as we take a look at the emblems, you're able to start quickly. And if you do that, we've seen lineups snowball pretty heavily.
So we'll see if that snowball actually comes to fruition here for either or of these teams, because technically both gold laners actually want to do that, right? The Granger wants to get as many stacks as possible, get that Sky Piercer fast in, but so does Claw on the Bruno, being a snowballing hero, but already some rotations here coming through. Soju goes in, dives onto Shell. She's got low. Will she be able to get it? That's a Tempest of Blades to take first blood in for Team Liquid.
Great pickup there. That's the first blood in the hands already for TLPH. So a little bit of focus here now on the bottom side, but I don't think you're going to be able to take down a Phobius. Gaki should be fine. Someone's got that level 4 though too, so some extra gold going up in the hands up top for Claw, but the turtle is up, and it looks like Vitality wants to go for this unless...
There it is, already taken by Vitality here. Vivian gets caught a little low, but the damage will not be enough to take her down just yet. Very disciplined from both of these teams. It's looking good for both, honestly, at this point.
So an objective secured. A little trade happening so far. It's going to be fine. I mean, when you look at this too, I almost want to say both teams have the bases covered in terms of like damage profile, damage throughput throughout the entirety of the game, and it's kind of weird to say that because Team Vitality hasn't had like these longer games that we've seen from other teams. They like to finish pretty quickly. Claw's gonna have to rely on the team here. I'm not sure if this will break out into a fight. Soju not level 4, but she's gonna jump forward just to keep Claw from safety here. So yeah, it's not going to turn into a fight in that one.
Yeah, they don't want to go for it just yet. Very quick for the disengage. Just wanting to make sure that Claw gets to that power spike quicker. She wants to look for a snowball that... Oh, wait a second. Claw has to be careful here. Vivian already on the rotations. That's the heavy spin, and there it is! Vival goes in for the kill. Soju is next on the chopping block, but he still will not survive that. Going to be taken down. That's a 2-0 trade for Team Vitality.
Vivian saw that, and she's like, I got this. She goes in, utilizes the heavy spin, picks up a kill for the team, and then flickers on out to survive. Ramichi's going to jump in, trying to keep this turret from going down, but we're going to take a look at the instant replay. I think that turret's going to go down too. It looks like it does, but again, this was a decision from Vivian, a call made. She knew she could survive with a flicker. She does that, and they back off. So that whole interaction actually gets Team Vitality a good chunk to swing in their favor. Not only a kill, but a turret going down this early on. So you can already see how TLPH earlier had a little bit of a lead. Well, Team Vitality has it now, and this turtle is up. So Team Liquid might want to go ahead and turn this one into a fight. The problem is, once again, Vivian on the Akai. We talked about it on the panel for a little bit. This Akai has been a surprise. I don't know if it's been as big of a surprise for you, though, Eterna.
A little bit, but the way that these women here in MWI love to go for team fights, it does make sense, right? The tools utilized, that's a final slash onto Soju and Zaishi there. But they're not going to commit just yet, but that's a resource burnt out already. Vival. Oh, wait a second. Daiki forced in a flicker there. That's some damage coming through. Again, disengage. These girls, these ladies, they're playing this very, very carefully. They don't want to make a mistake yet.
It's like, hey, here we got all our ultimates. Let's go ahead and use them. And they burn some resources down. Turtle's still going to be standing. Fumi Echo, though, trying to zone out Soju. Final Sash again.
That's Soju taking some damage, half health already. We're gonna see the Retribution battle here. Heavy Spin already utilized. That's the Tempest of Blades! Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is, the pin down, and Vival will still be able to get that Retribution down. Daiki gets caught in 4, and Soju's gonna be the next one to fall. All members there looking for more objectives on the board. 2 members taken down, and it looks like Team Vitality is not done yet. Going for a little bit more damage. That's a slice in from Fumi Echo to take another member from TLID down.
Wow, Team Vitality, it's like they flipped the switch just now. They end up delaying the turtle take by quite a bit. We're going to take a look at an instant replay of that. This is an early Retribution that's a little bit too much, and then Vivian finds the lockdown on the right targets. They get Daiki, and Ramichi had no choice but to get away, and Soju left there all by her lonesome. So an objective, a couple of kills, they then get the mid turret, and this is where you start to see some of the gold lead going in favor, especially in the gold lane. Shell's got a nice little lead against Claw, so Team Liquid has to basically buy some time here to allow Claw to get back, caught back up, because, you know, this is one of the things too, like a Ling eventually is going to have to worry about buffs being taken, your jungle being taken control of, and you definitely don't want to be in that position if you're Amici. So Team Vitality with a healthy lead now. They look to go ahead and put pressures elsewhere on the map. What can Team Liquid do here to, I guess, stall this out a little? Amici's just going to have to get out of there. I don't think she can even 1v1 Vival at all.
Yeah, she's a little bit behind, but to answer your question, I think the Ling is really great for Plan Z. Plan Z being a split pushing on the opposite side of the map. We're going to see whether or not they're going to be able to utilize that to their advantage, because this is a 2v1 now onto Vival. She should be able to get out still, but those waves still will be crashing in favor of Team Vitality on the top lane, and that's yet another push.
Oh, she has to get away. Escapes the traction pulse. Just shield's already going to pop, though. No holy defense on the top turret, so that's early. 7 minutes in, Team Vitality will get that down. This is just a showcase of how much control they actually have in this portion of the game. And they do this all until this Lord comes up. Once that Lord comes up, they have quite a bit of control to deal with, and most likely a decisive team fight for them. Well, Team Liquid's lineup needs a little bit more time to get online here. I'm just not sure if they're going to get it.
Oh, that was very close. That was a lot of damage already on to Zaishi. Gonna force her to recall. But yes, going back to the point of both of these teams, this is the problem with the Bruno, right? You're really great early game, and now the mid game kind of dips for the Bruno. Yeah. So somehow TL will have to find a way to withstand all this aggression here in the mid game to get to that late game of Bruno that really just goes in for that crit build. Daiki forced in the flicker. Should be okay at this point, but I gotta say, Team Vitality are not letting TL breathe one bit, and that's the Plan Z that I was talking about.
The plans. Why is it Plan Z?
Because it's like the last thing you want for a Ling.
Ah. The split push is the last opportunity basically that you have. I mean, anytime you have a Ling, that's true. We see this quite often. And like I said, you're gonna see your buff just kind of take it from you. So Ramichi's gonna be left in the situation where Lings don't want to be. You're gonna be purpleless, right? You want the purple buff as much as possible. So she's left to make a decision of where should I push? Should I push on the opposite side of the map? Should I get some of these turrets down? Because they don't have any. I mean, if we look at this exactly on the macro level, they have nothing for TLPH, and that's a really tough position to be in, because itemization-wise too, you're outgunned, out-defensed, out-offensed, everything. And so you're going to be in a tough position on this base defense, as a Lord will eventually make its way up the top. Team Vitality has done work on the shields. That's where that, that little bit of a push earlier on is going to pay its part, because they don't have to worry about the shields now. So they'll play this, and every single time we have a Arlot in the field in the Land of Dawn, you got to watch out for the pressure. I mean, the final slash flicker combo, even in your base, doesn't feel safe at all. So the top turret worked on before the Lord even gets to it. And they're going to go ahead and make their mark here. We'll see if TLPH can dig down deep nearly the 10-minute mark. They're going to have to pull out a miracle of intent. Traction pulse goes through.
Okay, that's a damage onto Daiki. Daiki's gonna fall here, but Fumi Echo gets taken down as well. That's a heavy spin from Vivian, and Ramichi is the next one to fall. A 2-for-1 trade so far. The flicker burns in as well, but Vival's gonna be able to take Soju down too. The turret in the mid lane is going to be targeted. Zaishi gets caught low, but will it be enough for them to clear out these minions? Vival goes in very aggressively into the back line, but Vival will be the one taken down. But look at the base. The base is going to be the target. Shell and Cine still on it. This is a 3v2, and it looks like TL will still lengthen their life here in game number 1.
Wow,
a successful defense from the Filipino team.
Wow. I am surprised that that wasn't an end, because I think Team Vitality thought it was going to be as well. They had to like readjust themselves in the chairs after that. For Team Liquid to defend, I mean, I'm surprised they were able to pull off. Great that they did, but what does that actually buy them? They lost all the base turrets. Amici has to get out of here. She's still planning to go with Plan Z throughout this game. But nonetheless, you're still massively behind. 7,000 gold behind, no turrets to work with. So what does that mean? Essentially, it's really difficult to move around the map.
The problem is Ramichi is a little bit behind, right? Is she 3 levels behind of the Lancelot right now?
Yeah, she's
2 levels. So even if they want to look for a neutral objective contest, they can't play that 50-50. They need to figure out a way to utilize their tools to shut the Lancelot down. But look at the composition that they brought in. It's not going to be as simple.
I think part of this is why she's everywhere right now. And, you know, Team Vitality's doing a great job at kind of controlling Amici on what she can really do cross-map. But ultimately, this is just another Lord. When you're this far ahead, this Lord is yours for free. There's nothing you really have to do as Team Vitality secures that Lord. And we'll see if Team Liquid Philippines can do it again. Can they make a base defense work? Claw's had some time. She's had an extra couple minutes to build up, but even looking at the items, I don't know if it's enough. Maybe the Malefic gun that she recently picked up will help a little bit with her positioning, but ultimately I think still you have to watch out for that final slash from Fumi Echo, from the initiation, even from Vivian. And the hardest part about that is the range advantage that Team Vitality has, because Shell's just been popping off from the backside with those Death Sonatas. Lord will make its way into the base. Team Liquid on the defense.
Oh, Daiki again. That's a final slash on the Fumi Echo. But there it is. Daiki gonna look for something, but she gets taken down. Uh-oh, Soju gonna be the next one to fall here as 3 members are on her. As we look into the base, Team Vitality are doing a great job at making things messy. All in favor of them. That's a damage. That's the range that we were talking about. Cine. There's a trade in damage there. Wow. Ramichi. Uh-oh, Fumi Echo goes down. 2 members from TL are off the back. Wow. But again, a successful defense for TL. Team Vitality can't close.
How did they do it a second time? Even with a lead that Team Vitality had, Team Liquid makes it happen. And again, a big part of it was the distraction that Soju bought in that mid lane. Vivian?
Uh-oh, she's gonna go down here.
She's fine. She's got the heavy spin, but luckily enough, she has an immortality too. I almost thought that would get popped, but it doesn't. But right now, the mid lane is going to be the focus from TLPH. They're looking to at least get their first turret of the game. You know, 13, almost 14 minutes in, they don't have one turret down. They have to get something to be able to move around the map, and that's what Ramichi has been doing for the past 5 minutes. She's the one trying to get these turrets down. But unfortunately for Team Liquid, they have not found one, and so Team Vitality still holding on, essentially the same lead. Oh, Ramichi going to be forced once again. This is such good macro control from Team Vitality.
Yeah, they're experienced, right? They're experienced with these kinds of plays, but the fact that TL have come this far with absolutely no inhibitor turrets, it also goes to show how crazy they are, right? That mental fortitude that we were concerned about for TL being quote-unquote newcomers to MWI is definitely not showing. They're remaining resilient here in this first game, despite the 6,200 gold lead that Team Vitality has been able to pick up.
I'm really curious now, Eterna, like what is, out of all the games that Team Vitality has played here, what is the longest game? that they played. I mean, we know that some of their fastest games at one point were the record, which was eventually broken. They had about a 9:37 game time. Finally, some turrets are going to be going down here, though, too. So these are the baby steps in the right direction that Team Liquid has to make. It's more so it's starting to be a trot. They're trying to get to the trample at this point, but right now, it's going to be another objective. Another Lord in the hands of Team Vitality, unless...
Uh-oh, heavy spin already utilized. Vival still gets the Lord here. Since a Blade's not going to be enough to actually take that neutral objective down, but she will fall here. Ramichi, the first one from TLID to be taken down. The damage output coming in from Team Vitality is still there. Soju, second there. Fumi misses it, but look at Vival going to the back line and taking it in. Triple kill in for Shell. Wind of Nature utilized as well. Kla gonna try to survive this, but she doesn't. 4 members from TL are down, and that is a wiped out to close out game number 1 for the powerhouse of Indonesia.
Man, I felt it in the words there at the end there, Eterno. What a game number 1. Still, big props to Team Liquid to be able to defend the way that they did, but unfortunately for them, it just got dragged out a little bit too long. They weren't able to get in a position where they could actually contest. If only, I can only think, if only, somehow, some way they were able to get that Lord steal, if it was the Retribution, to keep them in the game a little bit longer, then maybe, just maybe they would have gotten towards assaulting the base of Team Vitality. But let's throw it over to the studio to think what they thought about game 1.
First of all, shout out to Turna. See, you can do it. See, that was good. That was good.
That was good.
Speaking of good, I honestly thought Vitality could have ended it much sooner, but then Team Liquid were able to hold it out. And I agree with Naisu. If somehow they got that Lord, could have looked different.
Agree, definitely. I think that there was a lot of resistance coming in from Team Liquid Philippines itself. Twice they were able to actually hold out their base well, and if there was a steal coming in from them, it could have turned things around for them.
Yep. The way that they were able to do all this, even despite Ramisi struggling to actually keep up in terms of farm against Vival, was definitely something for Team Liquid. And I think majority of the work was done by Kla. Like it was her positioning, it was her consistent use of the passive, and the way she just keeps herself alive.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's the awkwardness with Bruno. We all know that it's pretty good hero. You know, early game is great, but unless you win by a lot, your trajectory of power is very awkward. It's not all the way up. There's a dip going down, going back up, going down, going back up. So, yeah, honestly, Kla did her very best, just that maybe just not enough time.
Yeah, that's true. And then the fact that Ramichi doesn't have any even freedom of movement right on her own path, and this is where the fine line is. Like, no matter how much you have Daiki as well as Soju trying to zone things out, yet no matter what, Team Vitality, they just have a better advantage on their own drafting.
Yeah, the Ling came in with Ramisi aware of the threats, so they really took on that risk, and Lancelot was the last pick either way. So regardless of whatever jungler that they went with, she already knew that there could be an Akai threat, an Arlot threat, and what's sad is that even during the latter portions of the game, after a successful defense, whenever she tries to attempt go for Chell, and even Sunny, it just doesn't work. They hurt so much.
Something to look at that draft is that they don't actually have a very easy way to consistently engage, right? Because they have layering with the Zetian, with the Fulvius, but you kind of have to make sure that everything goes right.
Agree, definitely. I think one thing that we should note on Team Liquid, their main objective or how they want to put out for this fight itself is, again, they want to counter-attack. They want to have that mobility to get in and get out as quickly as possible. But then again, Team Vitality said, no, we're not going to let you out at all.
Yeah, and if it's just mobility we're talking about, they have a Lancelot.
Yeah.
So I think even during that last sequence where they tried to contest for that Lord, we saw how desperate Team Liquid tried to escape, but the Lancelot denied them of that escape.
Yeah, looking at the itemization for the Lancelot as well, having the Brute Force as well as the Queen's Wings, even if somehow Vival makes a mistake, she's able to get out of there, no problem. You know, having 2 tanky items make it so that there's a lot of outplay potential. Personally, for me, I kind of feel like she doesn't even need it, right? Because the way that she goes in and out of fight, there's no one to really punish the Lancelot.
And is it? I don't know, like, there was an early rapid boots pickup from Vivian as well. So this is like one of those games wherein the Akai just felt terrifying. I know we haven't seen much.
Hey, today I'm convinced.
All right.
All right, looking at GG, looking at Vitality, I'm like, I see it. I see it.
I see it. I mean, I think pretty much during Rima's talk about how Akai, he keeps on saying that's my favorite panda right there. And then we keep on seeing Akai being popped up again on MWI. And this shows how Akai is very prominent right here for our meta for MWI itself.
Got a dash, pretty strong damage with the second skill. Tankiness is okay, but here's the thing. What do you really feel like Team Liquid has to adjust going into the second game? Because is it really the draft or is there something more there, Brigida?
I think it's something more in-game because Team Liquid, it's not the first time we saw them behind, but in the past few games where we saw them behind, they could still manage the macro. We didn't see that in this game.
I think pretty much they kind of lost a little bit, or probably they kind of like, not to say forgot, or probably they just lost touch of what we're gonna do now, what we're supposed to do. Even with the split push, they keep on depending more a little bit of the help from the Ramichi, but then it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they're like just clueless of what to do.
I mean, if we're thinking about how to deal with Team Vitality, I think the best people to know were their previous opponents. So now we actually prepared a video about everyone else that has already fought against Vitality.
This is the winner from Battle of Famous Place. Welcome to Vitality! Ushering another trophy for Indonesia. As the entirety of the Filipino lineup is wiped out, Indonesia will emerge as your Asian Esports Games champion.
I think Team Vitality is definitely one of the strongest team here. So if we were to meet them, they would be a very difficult opponent to beat.
I think they are very prepared and they want to get back their title.
I think Limitless is really strong then in MWI. I think they're gonna really good play style and their Maganda is so good.
I think they will have a good match, not an easy match, and they are competitive and we are eager to win.
The enemies ahead are those that we didn't expect, right? But yeah, we always respect them and just do our best in every match. So let's see how the game goes.
Coming down, Chell gonna be targeted down. No immortality. The queens of MLPP have fallen.
Can they rewrite history? They couldn't do it last year. This year, like we saw everyone, nothing but good things to say about them. Their micro is great. Their macro is great. Their chemistry, they've been building this for years at this point. And our grand finalists, Gaming Gladiators, even they say like, oh, if we fight against them, there will be a tough match. And if they win this one, that will become a reality.
Oh, that's true though. I mean, again, they have been trying to go on to get that title. Just one more title, just close enough to say that they have everything under their belt. So definitely those feeling, that ambition just rising off, this burning desire in their hearts, just trying to prove here at the MWI.
Yeah, I can actually feel how badly they want this win. To the point wherein they say that even if they don't win any other tournament, it doesn't matter to them anymore because this is the most important thing for them at this point. And you see it in the way they play and the way that after Navi PH get taken out, it just feels like they feel all the more convinced or confident that there are higher chances of them actually getting it this time around.
And the crazy thing is that we can actually say that Team Vitality, they're really hungry for this win, which usually you don't say to champions because they've eaten well, they've gotten everything, but there's no one hungrier than the ones that already had their hands on that trophy and then getting swiped away. The hungriest are the ones that got second place. The one that hurt the most are the ones in second place. So now I kind of feel like as much as they've won, no one is as desperate as they are to actually get that trophy this time.
Oh, that's true. Definitely. I mean, like, this is where the fine line that the teams, the players itself will say, like, what more can I get? What more can I achieve? Because, again, even though, yeah, despite the storylines that we've been denied last year, but at the same time, it's like proving to themselves, like, I could be more than what I've done from last year, and I could be more than what I've done from the past months of this year as well.
And it seems like they're still sticking with red side for this one, Pasha. So the bans look a lot similar to the bans we saw earlier, though. It's just whether or not this is still going to be a Gatot Kacha ban for Team Vitality, because that was the other ban earlier. And we did mention it. Like, the trend which Team Liquid followed wasn't that bad. Like, the Baksha first pick and all that, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't. I mean, pretty much they had that sustain. They had someone to be on the front line to get the zoning done. The problem is just the moment when they had the last two picks, Ling as well as Bruno. Now, yes, we did talk about how Bruno was a really good pick to be fighting off with Ranger. But again, when the early stages, yes, there's a really equal. But mid-game wise, Bruno has a lot of limited things to be done.
And there goes the change.
Because
actually, I didn't notice. They banned out the Baksha themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So the Arlot remains open. So is the Badaang, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because this was the other ban earlier.
And I think they already picked up with Kimi as well by the side of Vitality.
Personally, I know a lot of junglers, and every single one of them, if they can, they would want to ban the Badang, because doesn't matter how much you nerf him at this point, people have gotten so used to how Badang really works. It's so annoying, right? It stops you from moving forward. Even if you're trying to run away, there's a wall blocking you. So now, Team Liquid, getting the Fredrin, getting the Arle, getting the Zetian, kind of looks like they're going for more team fights, but the previous match, they didn't have enough damage. Will they have it this time?
I think pretty much right now we've seen the same combo that we've saw previously, where Alit and Fredrin, one of the best combos as well. Zetian as well, we have the CC. Fury of the Phoenix definitely can have that stun movement to the side of Vitality. That could be one of the things that was missing out from the draft that Team Liquid needed previously. And now coming off to Team Vitality, they don't really care. They're pretty much like in the definite division, they will punish or probably prioritize on burst damage and their own sustain, as well as their own setup for right now.
I was a bit nervous of whether or not Team Liquid would replicate Team Vitality's job earlier with the Kai instead of the Fredrin, but it seems like they're just playing it a bit more safe. But it's such a great response to see the CC coming in from Team Vitality.
Yeah, my problem is that Team Liquid is putting up a good defense, but everything that Vitality has punishes front lines like crazy. That's a problem.
And,
yeah, it is.
And I'm so worried about how is this gonna pan out in terms of the macro if ever they're forced again to defend, to play from behind. Because if they're drafting a lineup that relies purely on team fight, how confident are they that they're gonna win against Team Vitality in terms of team fight?
This is the thing. Team Liquid, they're not to say like it's a tunnel vision for them, but I do feel as if they're just holding out to say like, we want defense. We want to make sure that no matter what, if you attack us, we have that counter attack. But again, if that counter attack does not succeed, Vitality is just going to punish you over and over again.
Personally, for me, if only this Zetian was a Farsa. I understand the Farsa was banned and they themselves banned it out, but I kind of feel like Farsa is unique in the sense that level 4, you already have a big burst. You don't really rely on anything else. Maybe just the arcane boots for the extra penetration, but Zetian has damage, sure, but not Farsa level of damage. So I'm really concerned if that in the early game they couldn't do it. Unless they're able to get a fast roaming gold laner, kind of like a Granger, then maybe the story could be different.
Although the first one picking after the banning phase is Team Vitality.
Yeah, so if they want, they can take it away.
And that's what happened earlier too. So which is why TLP
and Granger gets banned. And Moskov as well. Moskov and Granger are the fastest roaming gold laners to actually join that turtle fight. So now it's denied. So I kind of feel like Team Liquid, they're being too honest, and Vitality just read it out.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
If this is team fight lineup again, or a team fight draft, then what if they go for Harith again?
I honestly would rather go for a Beatrix. Just go for ultra late game, yeah.
Oh yeah, Beatrix will be actually a good idea as well to be picked up here. But again, with Akai as a respect ban as well, we saw how it was when it comes to Vitality just dominance. And Lancelot also been banned off. I think this is again a respect ban. Needless to say that pretty much Lancelot in the hands of Vitality is very dangerous.
Yes. it's super dangerous. But whether or not this is a Granger,
Banned?
it really, or no, whether or not. Okay, so never mind. They already banned out the Granger. So this is Team Vitality only lacking their potential gold lane.
If they want to double down, pick out something like a carry so that Fredrin really cries.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they took
They
the
took
Harry.
Harry. You
they
did
took
talk
the
about
Harry,
it.
Because it was good for Team Liquid.
Okay, that's weird.
Oh my goodness. I did not see this coming. Cause like it feels like Team Vitality always want to go for that aggressive start, the
yeah.
early games, and Harriet hasn't been popping off that much in terms of like doing that. So what does Team?
What about like Irital Angela?
Okay. I mean, there's no chance of an
Alright,
Esmeralda
Beatrix.
anyway.
Oh,
Called it, by the way.
yeah, you did.
I did just want to say.
Oh, but
yeah.
Kalea.
Oh, Kalia Beatrix is pretty strong. Right? Catching in an instant burst, that could work.
That could actually work. I think that pretty much Team Liquid has a better answer right now compared to what we see on the first draft. Yes, they have their sustain right now going in to actually get a little good setup for themselves to fight off Vitality. Team Vitality, on the other note, they will also want to counter it out with the setup they've done with Badang picking off, or probably just like try to shred it out with the Fist Break and Fist Crack as well.
Hey, maybe this Beatrix is just trying to show that she can be the female Filipino sniper.
Oh.
But Team Vitality, they have the option of getting a dive or a jungler that can dive the backlights if ever they want to. Need to consider the Kalea though, if ever you are gonna.
I was thinking of the X-Borg. It's like, hey, why not just double down?
Oh my!
Let the Fredrin have an awful day. Like he had a day where he got coffee and then it spilled on his pants. He got a burger and then everything just falls out. Thank you very much, Brigida, as well as Fashabani. I'm gonna be throwing it over to Naisu as well as Eterna, and I don't know, man. I kind of feel like this Fredrin will not have a good time. What do you guys think? Do you guys think he can survive or nah?
I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, he will have a good time, you know? And maybe this lineup from TLPH will be good enough. And I like that you mentioned that, LaFell. Maybe this is the chance for Cloud to become the Filipina sniper on this Beatrix. So, Eterna, what do you think of the drafts here as we jump into the Land of Dawn?
The drafts are good for
They're
TL.
hot.
They're hot because of the
X-Borg.
X-Borg. But I get the reasoning behind this X-Borg, right? You're going against the Fredrin into the jungle, so if ever you want to contest for neutral objectives early, that is a possibility that is up on the table. But it depends. I guess mid-tier rotations are also going to be a big factor as to how the early game will go.
Yeah, one thing about this too is, I know we'll get a glimpse at it in just a bit with all the emblems, but for the Kalea this time around in this game, Soju went with the focusing mark, so that is going to help some of that initial damage burst that can come out as we get a glimpse of it. As I said, so you still run with that tanky emblem, you need that tenacity, the firmness, because Kalea is still that initiator for the team here to set things up. Oh, Vivian?
Yeah, caught really low here. That's a flicker, but she still will be able to survive.
That I know the crowd's feeling that one. That was close, right? That was almost a first blood already, and that focusing mark will really help that. So I almost expect Team Liquid to be in a position to get a first blood, but Daiki's in trouble.
Oh, that's the range, and that's the oppressive force that the Kimmy in the mid lane can actually offer. So looking at her emblems earlier on, she also went for Mystery Shop alongside Shell on the Harriet. So they're looking to find that snowball early on. Vival already very oppressive here in the mid lane. That's an immobilized caught through, but Flicker will be able to get her out of that sticky situation. Should be A-okay for now.
A lot of the battle spells being used here to burn through. This is kind of what we see, you know, this is kind of what we expect for a lot of the early game potential to get the battle spells out before the first objective, being that turtle. So as the level 4s are coming online as well, that's going to be a big thing, but it'll be Vival that starts up the first turtle of the game, but just around the corner, Romichi's there. So this is the standoff that we're used to seeing with utility junglers. Who's going to be able to go ahead and secure the space around this. Vivian doesn't have the flicker either. Obviously, she doesn't have the ultimate that we usually see from Badang elsewhere. So they back off of it, at least for now. They're going to go get the buffs. And this is the main thing with these with both the lineups. They need those level 4s. They need some of those crucial, valuable ultimates to be.
Zaishi's gonna get caught. Oh, that's a final slash hit coming from Daiki. Vivian gets out alive, but Zaishi will still fall. That's the damage output coming through. Ramichi goes very aggressively. That's a Purify utilized, but in the back line, Soju goes down, and Daiki gets caught here. The next one to fall, 2 members, double kill. Another pick off onto Soju. A 3-4-1 trade, and Team Vitality win the utility.
A big trade. That was a fight I wasn't expecting to be that many bodies flying around this early on for the first turtle. Vival went down, but the rest of the team will go ahead and secure the objective. So Turtle secured, but a healthy elite now already because of those multiple kills that they got. And you know, you saw how, unfortunately, as we'll look at the instant replay here, this was all started up with a great final slash, but Vivian gets away. You get trapped in a choke point that you don't want to be in. Cindy's just here, you know, hanging out. She pops the Attraction Pulse earlier on, but she gets out with a Purify and the last Insanity. This is always kind of the value of an export. You get that true damage, and it's really kind of devastating in those certain parts of the map, so those parts of the jungle here. So it's a great team fight from Team Vitality, and Team Liquid will have to go ahead and readjust after that. Maybe look for a pick off if they can with the Kalea now that Soju's level 4.
That's a big turning point that we're going to be waiting on. And usually the Beatrice gets to the power spike a lot earlier as well. And considering that she is in a lane against the Harith, that should come much, much quicker. So we're looking at the counterplay from TL, whether or not it's going to hit. And reflecting back onto the neutral objective take earlier on as well, that's the beauty of the last Insanity, right?
Yeah.
You're untargeted. There are moments where you can utilize that to your advantage to get the retribution down, or even look for that final boom of damage onto the opposing team.
That's basically what it is, you know, and like I said, that true damage is pretty devastating in some of these fights that are closer together, because you know with a Kalea on your side and a Fredrin, you're going to be forced to, in a way, be clumped around them because of their kits and the way that works, especially with a Fredrin trying to get these energy eruptions off. And, you know, earlier on, Ramichi was able to get a kill, but the main job here is for her to contest these objectives that come through. Second turtle is just about to come up, and maybe Team Liquid...
Oh, that's a flicker! Tsunami Slam! And there it is! The collapse in damage. Shell goes in, but that's Soju going to be taken down. That's the last Insanity, putting in some damage. Vival gets countered as well, but Daiki's going to be able to take Vival. 3 for 2 so far. Daiki, the next one to get crossed down. Zaichi barely escapes, and she still is able to get that flicker, and she survives!
Oh, she's gonna go for it, Cindy. She's so close to going down, both of them, but she'll clear the wave out. I'm not sure if she's actually gonna try to delay this. I think she just goes for the turret, but what a team fight again for Team Vitality. It was the same thing, but this time it was Team Liquid that started that fight with Soju, but then they lost the overall team fight because of how devastating that last Insanity is. Let's look at the instant replay. They fight this, they go for it, and they threw everything at Vivian. Unfortunately, they didn't have any firepower left once the fight broke out, and they were clumped up together for Vival. The rest of the team come through, and Insidia just on the backside, kind of unleashing. And, oh no, still?
Already, another team fight that's happening. Gla goes down. This is interesting. Soju as well. I wasn't expecting another team fight to break, considering TL just lost the earlier one, but it looks like they still went for it.
They went for it. It looks like they got the turtle at least, because it's 1 for 1 for the turtles, but that was a fight that they didn't need to lose, because this gold lead is just continuing to build up for Team Vitality. Just like we saw in the previous game, they'll take this lead, you know, at the almost the 7-minute mark. They're taking the tier 2 turret down. They already put enough pressure here in the mid lane as well. And TLPH will have to go ahead and try to find a massive adjustment, because all a part of this too, you're falling behind in the jungle, you're losing your buffs. And so who's supposed to do it? I think that's a big question for Team Liquid and the fans out there, is really, if you see it, Soju is trying to start those fights, but even if you pick off Vivian, you gotta have enough to get the rest of the team here from Team Vitality. A brute force is picked up by Fumieko. She's been doing a phenomenal job at jumping into the back line or just providing coverage, and we've seen CC work out so well well for so many compositions for MWI so far.
There's a lot of counter engage, and I think that's one of the glaring problems right now for TL. The fact that, oh, wait a second, Shell goes very aggressively under turret, actually allowing Vivian to take all that damage from the turret. She still gets out alive. There's the immortality too. And it's not over. Daiki trying to prevent that. That's a final slash onto Fumi Echo, but it looks like TL will not be able to save the turret. That damage from Fumi as well. Very apparent. Soju looks for that Tsunami Slime, and there it is. The taunt comes through. But remember, Vival still has that last insanity. A complete turnaround for Team Vitality, as they are the ones instead to get that pick onto Soju.
What's happening here in a lot of these team fights as Fumi Echo runs away after doing some damage to that base turret is just the timing of Team Vitality, the way that they're peeling for each other or initiating these fights, and even responding once again to Soju. Soju on the Kalea has not been able to find many windows for them to find a kill, and if they do, like I said, they just kind of run out of firepower right now. This Lord is going to go in the hands of Team Vitality, just like we saw in Game 1. Team Liquid might have to go ahead and rely on their base defense potential, and if we look at it, you know, are they where they need to be in terms of firepower for Claw? I feel like this is the same thing we saw from Game 1 on the Bruno. Unfortunately, it just wasn't that timing yet. She picks up a Malefic Gun. She's got some range now, but can they manage this push in from Team Vitality?
And despite the concerns that the panel also shared as well, wait a second,
Vivian.
what? That's a big Soju! Okay, Immortality is still there, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. That's a fist crack and break over, and that's the collapse coming from Team Vitality. The taunt goes through, but it looks like Fumi Echo is gonna be taken down. Not just him, she survives! Cine goes in with at the back line and puts out some damage onto Zaishi, and that's the trade. That's the turnaround. Daiki, the next one to fall. Untargetable, Vival goes in and zones the rest of the members of TL away. Things are not going according to plan, and this is the push. Inhibitor in the top side already taken down. The next one is the mid base. Shell already has the damage. That's the Holy Crystal. Claw taken to half health. I don't think they're going to be able to survive. I think this is going to be the end. Game number 2 secured clean by Team Vitality.
Game 2 looking a whole lot like Game 1, but a little bit faster this time. And man, did that Hereth look good from Shell, able to end the game off of that. Again, it was a setup with a Tsunami Slam started by Team Liquid Philippines. And it looked like for a moment, that would have been their fight. That would have been their skirmish to slowly turn things around. But unfortunately for them, it was all part of the plan from Team Vitality. So again, let's go ahead and throw it over to the studio to break down game number 2.
Hello. Oh, I think I'm on. All right, so here's the thing. I don't know if this is a hot take. I feel like the game ended before it began.
The moment you saw the export.
Honestly, the moment I saw the first 3 picks from Vitality, I'm like, they're saying a good Fredrin game. Howdy, partner. That guy ain't gonna have a good time. And he did not. Like, look at that.
How could you even... There were so many problems. I think we have an endless list to talk about in the draft. And it pretty much showed up in the game itself. And for me, I feel like one of the biggest contributors to how this panned out was the fact that usually if you see an export, you find a way to deal with it in terms of your burst damage heroes. But they were lacking in terms of that.
And the fact that we keep on talking about, you gotta actually make sure that at least Last Insanity has already been thrown out or been used already, but then they didn't wait it out, and then at the moment when they were trying to catch out, that's when Vival was saying that, oh, you've already done all your utilities or you've already done our setup, now it's time for me to come up forth and take you guys down.
Honestly, looking at the draft here, you guys can notice is that their damage profile doesn't help their draft and doesn't counter the enemy draft. So there's a lot of mismatch here when we're talking about heroes.
Yeah, and it's sad to think that most of their attempts felt a little desperate. It seems like they were going after Vivian, they were going after Vival, 2 of the least best options most of the time if you look at the entire lineup of Team Vitality. But then, how could you use it on Chell? She has to Purify too and all that.
Oh, yeah. And the fact is, the moment when you've already done all your skills-wise, Fumieku just come in with a curtain call and literally wraps around you. And you couldn't even go out of your own zone. And if you want to move away, you ended up just being in the favor of Team Vitality.
It really feels like they have a lot of setup, but no payoff. It's like trying to make a sandwich with just bread. Nothing in between.
It's so hard for Team Liquid. I mean, even looking at the gold, by the time that game ended, Kla was way too behind. And that's another thing. They were always able to find Kla in the team fights which broke out. I mean, it's good for Team Liquid that they're able to coordinate, that they fight together. It seems like most of the fights, they were complete. Before they started the fights, they made sure Kla was there. But that just put her in danger. And I feel like it contributed to the way Team Liquid greatly lost this game early on.
Oh, there was a lot of things that needs to be said from Team Liquid itself, because again, they're just playing into the hands of Team Vitality, how they actually go out of their way. Probably pretty much, again, we've talked about how the draft-wise, right? Probably the things that Team Liquid Philippines has to do is that what are the main objectives they want to go in? The counterattacks, is it with it or is it not with it, to a point that they pretty much look at a little bit blindsided to what they can actually go up against Team Vitality?
It's just that hopefully the reset does come in.
Yeah.
Because I think the strategy that Team Liquid did from Game 1 and Game 2 was already a change. Like, they tried to switch things up already. But even that wasn't enough. Or wasn't Team Vitality just prepared for anything that can come out?
I don't know. Personally, for me, looking at the draft, it looks like they want to put all their eggs in the club basket. But that egg takes a while to mature. And like I say, if the draft had a Farsa, it could have looked different, right? Because with the draft that they had, with Zetian, with the Fredrin, as well as the Kalia, it kind of looked like you want a prolonged team fight. But do you want a prolonged team fight against the next board?
Actually,
right?
Now that you mention it, because even if they left the Farsa open and went for a different ban, yes, they had the Fredrin. I think they were planning to go for the Fredrin draft, but they had the Zetian trade. So it was still out there. And we don't see that happen. Like, the Farsa-Zetian matchup rarely happens right now in MWI.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. Has damage, but not the right kind of damage. And now it looks like Rose is talking to someone named Atlas. So let's see what Rose has to say with Atlas.
Hey guys, welcome back to Reporter Hits. This is Rose, and I was bored over at our studio, so I decided to walk around the boulevard, and I made a new friend over at the League of Legends studios. So to all of our MLBB fans, say hi to Atlas from League of Legends.
Hi, I'm here at the League of Legends Stadium. We have a quarterfinal going on right now between FlyQuest and Gen G, and we just concluded our defending title holders T1 holding on to their position, moving on to the semifinal.
Now that is very interesting. So Atlas, for the side of Mobile Legends, quite a bit of stuff has been happening. A lot of upsets, a lot of plot twists. For the side of League of Legends, is there anything interesting that maybe we should know?
Oh, there is one that comes to mind. It was our quarterfinal yesterday. G2 taking on BLG. BLG 3-0'd them at MSI. It wasn't even close. But this time around, G2 managed to get the comeback victory, 2-1, and they're waiting in the semifinals. Absolutely crazy.
Oh, that is crazy. That feels like a revenge match. And I'm pretty sure that was amazing to watch and to cast.
It certainly was.
Okay, now one last thing. I won't hold you back for too long, Atlas, but maybe you could give us a prediction on who you think will be making it to the grand finals.
All right, so I think it's definitely Gen G. They have looked so incredibly dominant over in the LCK, and being our MSI champions as well is making them a bit of a shoo-in. But then there's anyone's Legend or our defending title holders in T1, and I think we have to make it the fairy tale. MSI rematch, T1 versus Gen G.
And there you guys have it from Atlas. T1 versus Gen G is his predictions for the grand finale of League of Legends. Thank you very much, Atlas. You're welcome. I'm sorry for disturbing you.
No, that's fine.
But with that, let us throw it back to the panel.
Thank you very much, Rose and Atlas. G2 making it to the to the semifinals. That's insane, you know. Shout outs to G2. And now we got to break down a little bit more about what happened in the previous game, where we have a clip where we're gonna show kind of the reason why they just couldn't do anything.
I mean, I think pretty much we saw from the last fight, this is where the fine line that what happened or what was the reason, the failure of the draft itself. If you actually had a really good setup, start out from the last fight itself, this is where the fine line, okay, they actually try to steal away the players itself, right? But then after the setup itself, it didn't work out for that long. Okay, let's take a look on the side right here. If you guys can see, yep, they steal away Vivian first of all, but then the moment when Fumieko was been zoning out, immediately shutting down, but then again, this is it. They had no much damage to actually burst up. Fumieko managed to move away, and this is where Shell comes in, Cindy comes through, and then all things just falter in, because this is where they put out the traction pulse. We can continue on the clips. Traction pulse comes in, the dash, Chrono Dash as well, Zaman Force. Everything just faltered for Team Liquid Philippines, because at the end of it all, they couldn't end the game or even the team fight itself.
Yeah, and even the small or minor, I'd say for some minor stuff, which also were or served as a factor as to how they lost that fight. Even the vengeance, I feel.
Yeah.
Like if there wasn't any vengeance at that moment, they could have probably taken one member down. But when you think of it, even if they did take her out,
yeah,
like I don't think Team Vitality would have held back. I don't think they would have backed off.
Yeah.
I think they would have still went for the fight, considering that they used so much resources just
true.
to take that one member down.
Yeah, I mean, like it was a small thing, but winning is all about doing those small things correctly.
Yeah.
Right? So I kind of feel like thank you very much for showing that clip. It does show that even with a very good setup, without the right damage, it kind of doesn't matter. So honestly, in that match, it does look like a rock, paper, scissors kind of fight, where I would say that Team Liquid had a scissor, but Vitality is just that rock. Like no matter how you try to cut it, it doesn't get taken down.
It's not gonna budge. This is a tricky situation for Team Liquid. I feel like they've shown two very different kind of approach, two different kinds of approaches to the game, but neither worked out just yet. And for Team Vitality, it's just been that very consistent and decisive manner of play. And even if you look at them right now, like it's just that they're just so confident.
They look like they're thinking about dinner.
They're just that much ahead.
This is like a normal day for them, and they're like, oh yeah, sure, we're just gonna continue on, have a fight, and then have a blast, and then carry on with our life as well.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
They're one win away from going to the grand finals.
I got dinner.
And let me just say, winning this one makes it so that at minimum, they get 90,000 US dollars. That's how big this matchup is. Meaning to say, if you win this and then you lose tomorrow, at least 90,000 US dollars. So life-changing money. And I hope Team Liquid realizes this, because winning this is going to be huge. If they're going to do a reverse sweep, every match is a best of one now. And now we're jumping straight into the draft. Vitality is going to be the first pick. Team Liquid is second pick. Instantly banning out the Gatsukacha as well as the Yisun Shin. And Liquid banning out the Boxy as well as the Uranus.
I think pretty much.
Uranus.
There were so many versions of that.
Hey, I'm practicing, man. I want to know which one is the right one. Uranus.
So anyway, I think pretty much this is the not to say respect ban, more to say like the priority ban itself, because we don't want to have Baxia on the line. I mean, even though despite that, yes, Team Liquid did pick up Baxia and it didn't work out to their favor on their zoning, but Gatsukacha still hasn't made their appearance here for our semifinals, and this shows how much that if any Gatsukacha been picked out or been given to either side of them, it might give a little bit of chaotic for the CC itself. And YSS also been priority ban as well. We haven't seen that so far, because when it comes comes to MWI, if anybody picks up YSS, it is going to be a hazard area.
Yeah, it's almost like a guaranteed win, right?
Yeah.
If ever you do get that and you complement it so well with your other heroes in the draft. But one thing I'm really looking at so far in terms of the bans is the fact that neither the Farsa
Payback
Your team
is taken out just yet.
There you go.
Just as I thought it finally will be. Oh,
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We can't have nice things.
We
We can't have nice things.
But that means that Kimi is still open though, and we see how Vitality is. When it comes to the Kimi pushing on the side of City itself, she was doing phenomenal. The burst damage that was needed, no matter how much traction pulse. I think the moment they counter-attack Team Liquid Philippine, every setup they made, they were able to actually come through, and those are the things that backfired for Team Liquid Philippine itself.
Let me just say my opinion as a host. If your opponent has the Kimi,
Your team is picking.
pick up the Lancelot, pick up the Hayabusa. If you take a tank, you're just gonna take it.
Yeah, actually, that was the one thing that I was actually questioning. The draft-wise, they could have actually picked up the Hayabusa, but they didn't, which is why Hayabusa was not even into consideration, because I think that Team Liquid, the past of the game itself, they have been using Hayabusa. Probably not in their signature pace or comfortable zone itself, but then again, it's still a really good conservable option for themselves if they want to actually pick it up, right?
Or maybe it's just that they already had this idea that they were really going for the Fredrin comp, and so they want to stick with that and not react so much. I feel like if you become too reactive, then that's going to be a problem as well. But this is new for Team Liquid. If they used to always save class hero for the second phase of the draft, now they decided to switch it up. No, they have to secure her hero right now.
Oh, okay. Barang been picked up, and then we do see Forvius. Again, I think pretty much we did saw Forvius already been picked up earlier on, and Moskov. Right? Yeah, exactly. So I think, again, Team Liquid Philippine is playing a little bit too safe, or not to say too honest, but direct too much, to a point that they say, like, no matter what, we're going to pick our comfort zone. This is our comfort zone.
And also, they didn't pick up the likes of the Kimi just yet. I feel like it's not going to be prioritized here. But what I like is that they balance it out with at least the Phobius to make Team Vitality think twice about what options they want to go for, because they'll have an answer to those heroes with lots of dashes. But just as I mentioned that as well, they picked up the Selena, which has a lot of dashes.
A lot of dashes.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care, especially trying to actually catch up with the Brazil Arrow. That's also one thing that we do see from Team Vitality as well. So Team Liquid, Lafel, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm just seeing Vitality having so much burst right now.
Yeah.
Like, we thought the game ended pretty fast before. They could end it much faster right now because they have a lot of lockdown as well as burst. Picking up the Jushin, honestly, I think is actually quite good. Making sure that you win the mid so you don't give a lot of vision for the Selena or the Batang. But this is the point where I feel like Vitality is asking Team Liquid a question. Which do you really want to go for? Utility jungle or assassin jungle? Because at this point, it's a very good first three picks for Vitality, because even though in terms of the lanes, it's pretty clear where they're going, but the draft is still very much flexible just because your jungle can go either way.
Yeah, honestly, it's like Team Vitality, they can play this early game in whichever way they want to so far, but I'm considering that Team Liquid might also have that option up, or as of now, for now, because if they already have the Moskov, then at least they have a surefire way to manage the lanes, and the Jushin can also be a great asset in terms of if ever they want to go for the team fight comp.
Yeah, I think pretty much right now Team Liquid realizes that they need mobility-wise. This is the things that are a little bit of lacking on their own draft itself, because movement-wise, they cannot go into the team fight as quickly as possible, or even away from the team fight as quickly as possible. So and not only that, most of the time they keep on focusing on a lot of the sustainability, but damage-wise was not there. So good-wise coming in from Team Liquid, but on the banning-wise now, Akai been taken out and Lancelot also been put on a priority ban. It's also a really good high note from both sides of teams.
I'm starting to think about what the jungler matchup is gonna look like because Team Liquid are banning out the likes of the Akai. They also took out the Baksha earlier on. So it's only in terms of the utilities, the Fredrins that are remaining.
Personally, for me, I kind of feel like for Liquid, this is going to be quite risky. Still consider picking up some kind of backline diver in the jungle, but also maybe consider some kind of heal. You know, like a Matilda, Florian, and Angela, because in terms of going up against bursts, if you're able to heal from that burst, then you're able to survive. But that does open up for Vitality just to pick up an assassin and then actually go for your healer.
What if could Team Liquid be considering the Fanny in this
I
game?
hope not, because Fanny's really bad, especially going up against a Badang.
Yeah, but like the bans and...
Like, it's indicating that.
Yeah, but...
I don't know, like, I don't play a lot of Fanny, but like a few cables mid and I'm already out of energy.
Yeah.
It's a bit annoying. And as I was talking about healers, they're thinking of the same thing. They ban out the Matilda, and Matilda's the best one.
Yeah, there's still the Minotaur. It is kind of similar, although it might not have that much of a great time because there's
Going up against a Badang is gonna hurt.
It's gonna have such a difficult time.
But I still think that there's a possibility that Hayabusa is going to be picked up here because, again, we've seen so far that Team Liquid has won one of the games with Navi MY with Hayabusa on the drafting as well. Those are the adaptation that we've seen, even though they lost on the first match. And the moment they picked up Hayabusa, and then they even had a really good motion. But Kali have been prioritized again to be picked up again. And now, Vitality.
I kind of don't like it just because if you catch someone, where's the damage? Jushin isn't burst. Moskov isn't burst. Heck, Moskov needs 4 items. Like, whatever their jungler is, has to be able to one-tap someone.
I might have seen a lot more Khalid Jushin games than Kalea Jushin games.
Yeah,
In the mid lane. So this is an odd pairing for Team Liquid.
Because it's the same as the previous match where you guys showed the clip. A lot of control, but no damage. A lot of setup with no payoff.
This is going to be a problem for them. But at least they have a chance of... Oh no! The Esmeralda makes this worse.
It makes it quite difficult, yeah.
Because the Kalea, the Jushin, these are all shield generating heroes. Even the Phobius, even the matchup in the EXP lane itself.
Oh, this is going to be rough for Team Liquid itself. I mean, again, draft-wise coming on from Team Vitality, it shows a lot of core strength as well as pretty much covering every single ground, right? They have their frontliners, they have their backlines covered up as well. No worries about what is set up. But again, like I told you, definitely Hayabusa will pick up. But the question is it going to be enough though with having Hayabusa?
Well, thank you very much, panelists. Brigida as well as Fasha Bunny. Very interesting draft coming in. I want to see how Team Liquid really pilots this one. So now we're going to throw it over to Eterna as well as Naisu, where possibly it could be the final game of the day.
Thank you so much once again to the panel for breaking down the drafts here. I'm Naisu, and this is Eterna with me to bring you the action for game number 3. Right now, it's match point for Team Vitality, a place up in the grand finals. Once again, for against Gaming Gladiators. Eterna, we shared some of our thoughts here for the draft. What do you think? Are you leaning towards Team Vitality completely here?
In this particular situation, yes. Right, it looks like the winning lanes aren't as apparent for TL in this particular situation, and that might be a problem because even looking at the mid trio, maybe they have a fighting chance with the Jushin and the Kalea, but I agree with the sentiment that LaFell shared earlier on, right? That's a lot of catch, but there's no burst damage to follow it up.
Maybe the burst damage was this last pick here, the Hayabusa. We've seen it earlier today in the hands of Nicolette from GG, and she had enough burst damage, I would say, but you definitely have to get there on the Hayabusa, and it's always the risk factor with it to, kind of weave in and out of those fights the right way. But the biggest thing is, yeah, it's a whole lot of crowd control. Claw needs plenty of time. LaFell just mentioned this, you need like the 4 items on the Moskov to really be able to go ahead and push in some of the lanes, but maybe in a way too, this is, I don't know, would this still be plan Z on your list? Is Moskov a plan Z?
It can be, but remember on the far side of the map, it's the Ling, and people consider that the Ling is the far lane king, right? Because of the mobility, the Tempest of Blade damage, and just the base damage of the Ling itself will make it very difficult for Claw to control in that far lane. However, there is a difference from the previous game and
What's
in
the
this particular
difference?
game. Team Vitality have no Purifies. So there is more opportunity to go in for that catch if TL sees fit.
You know, I see this as, because anytime you have a Kalea on play, you want to have usually a Purify, right? But with Team Vitality going all flickers essentially, and yeah, the sprint, I think that's just confidence. And after game 1 and game 2, that confidence is going to be apparent here. So maybe, just maybe, that's something that Team Liquid can go ahead and punish. If they can burn, for example, those flickers down early on, then it opens up that pick-off potential. Now with a Jushin kind of like sprinkled in there in the hands of Zaishi, that might be a little bit easier to pull off, because like in the previous game, we had to see so many initiations from Soju to try to start up a fight, to try to get the pick off. But now, you know, we've seen how effective the Lantern Flare and the Beacon from a Jushin can be for a lot of these teams. This first objective will be a showcase of that. Already level 4 on some of the important heroes that they have for Team Liquid. Team Vitality wants to buy a little bit more time. They'll go ahead and they don't have to pressure this up. So they'll let Team Liquid be the ones to start up the turtle. You'll see the rotate already happening here. They might be a little bit too late though. Vivian?
Oh, falling star move. Oh no, Vivo steals the turtle. Tempest of Blade's gonna be pinned down here. Ramichi goes down first, but here it is. That's the counterblade coming through. Flicker burns out as well by Vivian to get out of that situation. Another flicker, another pull. That's the Tsunami Slam taking down Fumi Echo. 1-for-1 trade, but Team Vitality pick up the turtle.
I was gonna say, there's no way that Team Liquid lets Team Vitality get away with everybody alive, right? You just got the turtle stolen from you. Ramichi went down. Soju had to use her flicker to go ahead and pick off a kill. So at least they get something. At least that goes in the hands of the team here. And we'll see. Once again, the rotations from Team Liquid are the biggest factor. When you have this Kalea to be able to rotate in and be a little decisive on the pickoffs, I think once again, as you build up, it has to be Ramichi providing the early damage, because it's not going to be Claude. Claude joined that fight, by the way. She threw that Spear of Destruction, joining that turtle fight, and they just weren't able to really pump out enough. She could be in trouble here.
3-4-1, that's a dive, that's a Tempest of Blade as well. Claw almost escapes, but unfortunately with 3 members diving down there, that's not going to be an opportunity for her to get out. And I do agree with you here. It's very interesting that here in MWI, we see a lot of the gold laners actually participate in the early game. Neutral objective takes even before they get into the power spikes.
Remember when there was a time when gold lane was just in its own world? Yeah. You know, like they would just stay in the lane. Maybe they'd 1v1 each other, you know, but ultimately they just did the thing, got the items they needed, and then they would join later on. But now we're seeing a lot more aggressive rotations, and I don't know, maybe that also is more exclusive here for the MWI specifically, but the meta is always changing, I feel like, even just to the slightest. So right now, we have to take a look at what Team Liquid is going to be doing. Right now, they're focusing on Fumi Echo.
Yeah, that's a lot of members really just going at it here. Fumi Echo still is able to escape with the falling star moon, and that's the backup play coming through from Cine as well. Vivian is in the vicinity. This is a 3v1 situation. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, Tempest of Blades, Clash is sure to fall here. Another takedown as, again, neutral objective on their mind. TL will be able to control the neutral objective here for Turtle 2.
Okay, still going too. Oh, all right, Vivian. She's not going to be able to catch Ramichi, so Ramichi puts some pressure now in the mid lane. They want to focus down the turret. Fumi Echo will jump in. Vivel joining as well. They burn a flicker, though. Once again, I'm not sure if this breaks out.
Uh-oh, Shell already with the Rhapsody. You're pushing out the damage, just zoning the members of TL away.
This is tough for Claw, Eterno. I mean, she has had a difficult early game already. You know, 0-2, and there's not much she could do, honestly. Wow. She's got to just go ahead and stay in the lane. You see she's down 1.5k gold at this point, and for a Moskov against a Granger matchup specifically is not where you want to be. You can see how much, even right now, Vivel is just staying on this side, making it even more difficult for Claw to go ahead and farm up, but she's got Soju here, so maybe Soju can go ahead and help them, but still, I think Vivel is mobile enough, and it's a Ling by chance that you really won't be able to convert a kill just yet unless they get the perfect setup. But I think Viv will know this too. The rest of the team's still in the mid lane, but it will be a turret that does go down. So that's good for Team Liquid. They needed to get some space to work around the map with. Oh.
But at what cost, right? Okay, Fla's still going to be able to get out, but I don't think this is okay here. They know that they have the man advantage and they're going to take advantage of it. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, you do see that they are trying to get Shell as farmed as possible. And that's the twist with Team Vitality, right? They not are only focusing on their own winning conditions, but they're also aware of the enemy winning conditions. And one of which, wait a second, Zaishi, be careful. Viva also very aggressive into the enemy jungle, looking to steal that purple buff away. That's the arrow that connects and hits, but they're not going to go for it. But back to the point earlier on, they're aware of the winning conditions from TL, which is Kla in the later stages of the game. So they're trying their best to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Right now, too, the turtle is going to be up. Kla still farming away. She can join the fight if she wants to once that Spirit Destruction is back online. But right now, the turtle is probably just going to be taken so quickly by Team Vitality that Team Liquid has no choice but just to find something else. And that something else right now is the golden XP needed for Claw. Right now, Romichi as well, like we said in the early game, this Hayabusa might have been the answer to go ahead and provide some of that damage, but so far from the shadow kills that she's shown us, she hasn't been able to really do too much. So it's a game of let us catch up, let us get to that point. But ever so, Team Vitality builds up. Here we go. Initiation.
Oh, Tsunami Slam, 3-4-1. She's sure to go down here. Fumi Echo, no way. No way, right? Okay, the Spear Lens is going to be able to take her down. Another push in for Kla, so that is a little bit of resources given over. Plus, she also gets that turret. But meanwhile, already some drama here in the mid lane. Daiki getting caught quite low. That's
under the turret.
Viva already. Should be A-okay.
Oh, and meanwhile, too, jungle matchup going on. Tempest Blade's going to be used. Michi will go ahead and try to get out of its Vivel. That actually goes down, so Team Liquid able to get something. Oh!
That's a shutdown taken. That's another pick here. Zaishi traded in. But all in all, that's actually threatened Team Vitality's early lead, right? 3,000 gold lead earlier on, shrunken down to 2,600. So in that skirmish alone, they've lost 1,000K.
There's a little bit of 1,000K. That's what I was going to say. That's quite a bit of gold. Hey, you've been working for many of the heated matches so far for MWI, and this is definitely looking to be a better Game 3, I would say, for Team Liquid. They still have a lot of grounds to cover, but you're seeing one of the big things is for Claw to get back in that position. She shrunk the gold difference, at least between her and Shell, but Shell, she's having a free day. You know, a lot of the times we see her just kind of popping off in the back line, and that's what this lineup allows her to do.
So now he's left. That's a flicker as well. Utilized. That's a lot of members there taken. Vivian here trying to do her best to stall the engage coming from TL. But will it be enough? Shadow kills in the back line. Ramichi takes down Vivian. And Vival is also going to be able to take down the enemy gold laner. Vival, 2v1 situation here. The double kill goes through for Shell. That's a triple kill. Looking for the Maniac. Daiki, Cindy, don't steal it. Cindy, don't steal it. Shell, will she get it here? And that's the Maniac in for Team Vitality here in the 9th minute of the game.
And Team Vitality will have a massive fight once again in their favor, and somehow, someway, Viv will survive to tell the tale. Look at that, the instant replay. This was all set up. This is going to be a whole lot of action on different sides of the map. Shell, though, ultimately getting the space to work in a situation 1v2. A great arrow coming out from Cine, and then Vivel relying on Shell to come and help her out. And look at how this happens. Of course you give over the Maniac to Shell. Once again, the connection here between Shell and Cine, and just the team from Team Vitality. The Lord was taken, that's secured. The buff's going to be taken. A whole lot, once again, for Team Vitality to go ahead and march towards the base of Team Liquid.
The sister chemistry.
The sister chemistry.
The sister chemistry, the sister buff.
They know.
Is what we're looking at here. And that's the funny thing about Team Vitality in these team fights, because you'd think face value that it's so scattered, but at the end of the day, they still work in unison.
Look at this. Mid lane, oh, again, Tsunami Slam.
Uh-oh, Vivian gonna get caught here, but look at the fist crack and break come through even despite that. A 2-man down, that's a double kill in for Ramichi. 3 members actually. Vival alone here, Temps of Blaze opened up, that's Zaishi taken down. Uh-oh, the stun comes through. Vival still gonna be able to get out.
What a response. Yeah, they only lost one, but TL might have just kept him into this game because I feel like if that whole interaction didn't happen over Michi, she's tired of her purple buff being taken. She's taking this one. She gets it too, so great response from Team Liquid. Again, this was all started by the Kalea. That's what we expect as the game continues on, is that Tsunami Slam's going to be crucial in finding a target, forcing Team Vitality to fight. But that was a split-up fight as well, and Team Vitality has been doing that a couple of times here in game number 3. So that Lord, what did it result to? The base turret up top going down. Oh, Soju? No. She's fine. A little title strike on out. She's going to be okay. They got to watch out for these arrows, though, too, because around this side of the jungle, that might be enough. That might be enough to go ahead and start up a fight, but TL buys himself more time. A buff secured here. They're a minute away from the Lord, so I would say, Eterna, they're starting to find the pieces of the puzzle that they needed so far throughout the series.
No, for sure, for sure. We're looking at the damage dealt rankings here, and obviously Cindy and Shell are up top. Kla is getting there, right? 12 minutes in, we're expecting to see the Trinity come through soon, and when that hits and when that lands, that's going to be the opportunity for TL to turn this game around, where initially it was Team Vitality coded. And there it is, right? The DHS, the corrosion, Vivaldo, okay, she's fine. And as well as the golden staff. So she's ready. The problem is now she needs a little bit more tools to work with, and that's it, right? Tools to work with in these particular team fights, but with the Wind of Nature, she should be able to survive a little bit longer, just in case Viva looks for a cheeky play onto the back line.
That's always a big defensive item for a lot of the gold laners. You can see Shell picks it up too, so they both have the option of using that Wind of Nature to buy themselves a little bit more time of damage against the physical damage type, especially when you have Vival on the Ling. You need that because she has been going to that back line to put pressure there. So, like you said, Eterna Claw might have just got one of the most valuable items for her in this game, and the rest of the team's going to have to survive this. They continue to deal with these arrows, though, from Cine, and that's tough to be in a position to take a Lord when you don't have control of this area. That's why Team Vitality is going to be the one to start it up. Now, what Claw can do is do this. Just send her down to the bottom line, bottom lane, push that into the turret if she can. But you can see the response already, too. That buff, that orange buff is going to be up. Vival will check it out, but it's just the standoff right now. They know they have to manage these waves. Vival will clear that bottom one out, but Claw will stay there, and she can. She can stay here for the next wave to push in. And so we have to actually see, even with Team Vitality having some of the lead they've had, how they manage having a Moskov across from them. She goes back to base, sees Vival still there, so this might be a window of opportunity for Team Liquid to try to find a win they massively need in this game 3.
All resources are up as well, right? So this is definitely the calm before the storm right now for both of these teams. And luckily enough for TL, the inhibitor turret that was taken away is on the same side as the Lord, right? So it's not going to be as difficult to control in these far lanes. That won't be naturally pushing in favor of TL.
Okay, still back to it. It's kind of crazy when you think about this. Like, the way the series has gone, this is about the closest it's been. In terms of TL being able to actually face off against an objective, this first Lord, it's Team Vitality giving that respect, and it's all because of the play of having the Moskov across from them. But this is what Team Vitality likes to do. This is how they like to play it. Take their time, slow the roll, and let Team Liquid be the one to potentially make a mistake here. So who's making her way down to? They might just go for a play. The Echo is just around the corner. They might have some information here. Again, that's the whole point of this Lord, Fumi Echo.
Oh, she shows on the map. They actually sent Fumi Echo there, but now she should be aware that there are actually 2 members in the bottom side, and that's also information if Team Vitality sees so fit, because essentially the Moskov can instantly come in to play, but the Kalea needs a little bit more time to rotate. So now Fumi actually rotates into a different area here. They actually send Vival down to clear in that lane, BOD now picks up a little bit more damage for them to work with.
Yeah, they're up to something. Team Liquid maybe trying to make a cheeky play if they can, but Team Vitality, they slowly lose any of the gold lead that they had. It's been diminished down to 700 now. This has been a great option, a great play from Team Liquid, but Vivo will take that purple buff from Ramichi, so they know. They're going to go for Claw.
Yeah, they're looking for the sandwich play there. 3 members already in the bottom side of the map. That's 2v3. That's the Tsunami Slam here. Already utilized. Comes the Blades at the back line. That's a win of nature. Going to be able to let her survive for just a bit. And she goes out. But unfortunately, Viva will still be able to get her. Soju will not survive otherwise. Double kill now taken in for Team Vitality. This is a man advantage and a green light to pick up the Lord.
Team Vitality knew. I mean, Claw and Soju were down there for minutes. And they just went to make the play. They find the right marks. And that is going to lead them to getting the Lord after that whole entire standoff here. There's not much that Team Liquid can do. Ramichi, she could potentially go in for a steal, but that's too much of a risk as Lord is now secured for Team Vitality. And they'll go ahead and clear things up and get ready to march in with this Lord. Team Liquid in a position to defend, though. The Malefic Gun was also recently picked up for Claw. Ramichi could get pressured out a little bit more here. Goes back with a Quad Shadow.
Oh, what? Ramichi gets taken down even before the defense. That's a Tsunami Slam here onto one. Vivian still has the Immortal, so she should still be able to get out of this alive. But look at the damage coming from Claw. Cine gonna be the next one to fall. That's a double kill in for Zaishi with a Sky Piercer stacks as well. And now the chase down ensues. Vival, what's the call? And the call is to go back. They're gonna be able to defend this.
Yeah, they lose 2. It's a trade, but ultimately this Lord still has to be worked on. Team Liquid will go ahead and do that. The waves are being managed here. Well, I'm not sure if they can get any more base turrets. Vival, up the 10th blades, she's gonna be fine. Gets out, but ultimately we can call this Eterna a successful defense on this Lord push for Team Liquid.
Felt like Team Vitality a bit more than they could chew. Really good opening coming in from Soji, and that was one of the glaring things that I was afraid of, right? I was concerned with no Purifiers on the board for Team Vitality, that TL just needs, one moment, one pick to turn things around. So yet another Lord failing to siege the base from TL. And if we're looking at the in-game equipment, we do see a little bit more range that Kala has under her belt with the Malefic Gun. And we saw that damage coming through, the pierce as well into the back line.
Yep.
Cine was taken down way before the drama happened.
I would say that's why Team Liquid is there. Like their potential to fight against Team Vitality is good, but it's more so the difficult part is how do we get the advantage in the fights? And a big part of that is just because they know that the back line is going to be pressured. So more than ever does Claw's mechanics have to be on point. And she can rely on some of the peel that comes with this lineup from Team Liquid, but I think even for Daiki's got to catch up defensively on some of the items on this Phoveus, because you saw at least in the difference between the gold and her and Fumieko, she's lacking a little bit, So it looks like we're going to get a little bit of a breather here for them to go ahead and get things situated. Of course, we want to make sure that everything is settled and smooth for our players. Claw, as you're looking at her, she can. I feel like she's feeling a little bit of the pressure though, because it hasn't let up from the early game. Eterna, like she felt that pressure from the first minute.
And that's what you want, right? I think a lot of the teams out there were looking for a way to punish Cloud, because so far she has been the beacon in TL.
She's been the one.
She's been the one. Her performance from yesterday's matches up until this point with the triple kills, the Maniac that she was also able to pick up, definitely put a spotlight on her. So T Vitality in this match from Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3, they're heavily respecting that fact. So I do understand why she looks a little bit concerned. She's like, guys, let me play.
Let me play. Because you got to remember, Claw, for those that might have missed it, at one point she's, I don't know if she has the highest KDA in our matches so far from MWI, but there was one point where she was playing the Granger, she was like 16-0. So that's exactly why Team Vitality, the strategy they've had throughout the series has been to put pressure on TL's gold lane, to put pressure where they need to delay the power spike for a lot of these gold laners that are picked up. So
We'll see how it plays through. Once again, jumping back into the game here, TL is in a position. This has been a longer game that I feel like this has been the distance for Team Vitality, at least so far. One of the longer ones they faced off against. So if anything can go in favor of Team Liquid Philippines, it's they've gotten to this point. They've allowed themselves to not get too out of hand in terms of a gold deficit like they have in the previous 2 games. And they're in a great fighting position. They only have 1 turret of the base down. So it's up to them how they manage this next Lord. It's coming up in a couple seconds. This is a evolved Lord, so it's going to be much harder to take just on the whim like Team Vitality has in the previous Lord takes. But you can already see the plans coming to fruition here. Team Liquid might go at a different angle, trying to go ahead and secure this if they can. I'm not sure. Do they press go on this half health? It's going to go for a reset. Claw's still up on the top side. So for Team Vitality, they're the ones to just let TLPH, if they want to overstep or maybe make a mistake, they'll respond to it.
Because technically in this Lord Dance, the pressure is on TL. Inhibitor turret taken down there on the far side, something that we did discuss in the previous Lord. So the pressure's on them, but there it is! The Tsunami Slam from TL, but Zinni still is able to get out alive. Fumieko, the fist crack also goes down here. Vival in the back line to do the damage. Fumieko, but the Zaishi will take him down. Zinni, the next one to fall here. Claw doing the best that she can, but that's going to be a double kill in. And this is tragedy. This is a disaster for Team Liquid. Match point, Tempest of Blades here. That's a push. Ramichi unfortunately will not be able to survive. Another wiped out as Team Vitality go for the final push. From the depths of despair, unable to survive in the grand finals. The Bees, the powerhouses of Indonesia.